Good evening. It's Dr. K, and I'm back to talk to you about the team project. This is a big project. It spans the entire course. There are deliverables due in week 2, week 4, week 6, and week 8. You will be working in teams, and what has happened is that during the week 2, the instructor randomly divides you into teams of 2 or 3. We don't know you, we don't know who you like to work with, but that's kind of the way teams operate in the real world. What we do try to do is make sure that your effort reflects your grade, because we know how distressing it can be if you're working really hard and you feel that someone else on your team is not. So, while you are graded as a team, we do make sure that your effort goes into your grade. So your team will work together throughout the entire 8-week session, and so you're going to develop a scenario for the 3 of you in your team, and it's a made-up scenario. It's a project. And it's a project that that has several parameters that we're going to discuss. Because we've seen hundreds of these projects and we know which ones work well and which ones are really too difficult to use as an example for this exercise. There's something too called a team contract, and I don't know if you've ever done this at work, but it's super helpful if you do, because you go through and you get everybody's assumptions out in so that they're visible. So if your assumption is that you're going to spend half an hour a week on this, no matter how much work there is, and you'll get it to people the week before it's due, that's different than the assumption that you're all going to be working together, you're going to Skype, you're going to discuss this in great detail. And working that out as a team at the beginning and then modifying that team contract as you go through and you figure out how you do work together best is an excellent way of becoming more effective as a team. In terms of the deliverables, during week 2, we're really just asking you to propose a scenario and to post a team contract. During week 4, you'll complete the initiating documents for your project. And during week 6, during week 5 and 6, you'll be working on project planning, and that's the majority. Those are very heavy weeks in terms of the team projects. And so they're lighter in terms of other assignments. And during week 7 and week 8, you'll be working on execution, monitoring, and controlling. So that lightens up a little bit. The things that you need to get going with this are some project templates and then a place to collaborate. So each week there's a collaboration discussion board that's put up there. Now you may choose to use other things that you're familiar with, such as Google Docs or Google Drive or anything that works for you that you can effectively collaborate together. That's super. But the place that you're going to be putting things for the instructor to look at are the discussion boards for the team projects. In terms of grading, when you submit, you'll be working on the discussion board, but when you say we're done with this piece, or it's the due date for this and we want to be graded on it, you'll be creating a new thread in the discussion board, calling it, Team Gold, ready for grading, or whatever your team name is. And so let's go in and talk a little bit more about the specifics. I've moved over to the document called Team Project Overview, which is posted in week 2. And we just discussed the expectations and deliverables, templates are located after week 8. So they're down where week 9 would be if there were such a thing. There's a separate week for just templates. And then here's information on grading. And what I would suggest that you do is come back and read this information more clearly in like week 4 when you're doing your first initiating document, so you really have a sense for what you need to do to cross-check yourself before you turn in your assignments. So here are some guidelines about the projects. First of all, we do not want you to choose a huge project, and we also don't want you to choose a project that belongs to one of you. Because as soon as it belongs to person A, people B and C just don't have the same depth of interest or understanding. So make sure that your project is agnostic. None of you know anything about it. That's fabulous. That means you don't get so carried away with the project, and you do get more carried away with the formal process of planning a project. So first of all, your project that you choose, your scenario, should be something that can be finished in less than 6 months. It should be something that will have a project team of 5 to 30 project team members. And you can just assume that everybody gets paid $40 an hour, whether it's a volunteer project or not, because that helps to establish the value of your project. You can assume that funding is readily available. This is the best of all possible worlds. If you just say, Bill Gates just gave us, the $400,000 we need to do this project, or our organization gave us this money. So you should assume that you have a parent organization of some kind that's already in place, and that they have people and they have resources and they have money, and you as project consultants simply need to come in and do the project and plan the project, do the project management parts of the project, not actually doing the project yourself. And you should also assume that you can acquire any buildings that you need without significant renovations. So no building projects are completed. I cannot tell you how tired I am of looking at deliverables such as paint is drying. Use something different. Here's some example. People worked on things that involve training volunteers to do some odd thing are a good project, because you can develop the training and train the volunteers, the initial groups of volunteers, in 6 months, and then you can hand off that continued training to your parent organization. Another thing is, here's one, setting up spinning sessions at a spot in a Greek resort. This is definitely not a nonprofit, but if you think about going from the point where they have a spa and they have a resort, but they don't have any spinning bikes and they don't have any instructors and they don't have any publicity for it, to going to the point where ongoing spinning classes are set up and instructors are trained, and you're ready to hand it off to the parent organization, which is the Greek resort. Another one is repurposing a coffee shop as an internet cafe in Dar es Salaam. Now, my only thing about this for you is, if you are a technology geek, do not choose a technology geek project, because you know what happens in technology. You know it in incredible depth, and your team members don't, and you get wildly off in the specifics of the scenario as opposed to focusing on the project management concepts. So don't do something that is your passion, and don't do something that is your knowledge area. Get a little bit outside of the box, have a little fun, and go from there. Now, we have had people who tried to do projects that would take 2 years, or they'd take millions of dollars, or they were so big that there was no way that they would fit in this. And we've also had people try saying things like just replacing a fence around a dumpster, and that's really too small. It's not a 6-month project. Even though when my son did that for his Eagle Scout project, it did take him 6 months. So that's about the information on projects. Relax, enjoy this. It is actually very fun. People say at the end of the class that it was the best part of the class. It's the part where they learned the most. And so don't let it get to you just don't let it overwhelm you. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about the templates that we use is that they were developed specifically to take the information in the PMBOK guide and turn it into actionable application of the concepts. And so you really should be able to use this as a real learning experience. And I will just let you know that I have had people who are studying for like their PMP certification use these templates on the projects that they had done at work just as a learning tool, and it really helped them to translate all of the work terminology into agnostic project management terminology as it comes from the PMBOK guide. So I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see your project ideas. Even if you can't figure it out, throw some idea up there and I will help you shape it into something that I know will work out for your team. Talk to you soon. Have a great week.